Hello everyone, welcome back. I do apologize for last week. I just kind of lost a week. It just happened. I had a commission to do and I kind of got lost in that and suddenly realized that I had missed doing a tutorial, or finishing off this tutorial should I say, and uploading it for you to complete yours. So I do apologize for that, everybody. Yeah, life happens and it gets in the way, doesn't it? So here we are, back with our beautiful Muse, who is Rick, the Muse 2 on Instagram. He has the most incredible photographs. I love using his photographs to draw because they are just interesting and they're not the normal run-of-the-mill portraits that you get. So I'm just having a look at this ear and I can see that this ear is slightly out of perspective. His ear does actually go up and come down fairly straight and quickly. On the side here we have got nice dark shadow of beard running along the edge of his face, which we need to emphasize because shadows and light are what make your drawing pop, and that's what we are after. I'm putting this indentation in his cheek in to give that a bit more substance, and I am, oh by the way, I'm using a 4B, my bad, a 4B pencil, so nothing too hectic, and you can see that it is not sharpened by any means. It could be slightly sharper, but it's fine. It's better for me to work with a blunt point than it is for a very, very sharp point. I'm not a fan of sharp points. Doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't experiment and see what you prefer, because it is very, very personal. Art is very, very personal. So I'm just deepening all these shadows down here. We will go back to the eye because, as you know, and if you've drawn along with me some of my other tutorials, you will know that once you have put tone down somewhere else on a drawing, it immediately forces you to relook at the tone everywhere else. I'm just extending this. This is slightly more than what I have put down there, and then we're going to go back in on this side and we're going to get that in as well, that shadow on his beard. Bring it in. It's quite a sharp turn on his cheek bone there, and it actually stops here, so I need to take that out because there is a definite upturn in his beard on this side. I just want to get that, emphasize that. Right, so we've put those in. Just going to deepen that ever so slightly, and then, oh forgive me, I'm just trying to get rid of these messages here that are popping up. We're going to deepen this because that is darker, and I'm actually going to change that very slight point that I have there. I'm taking it out because that will emphasize that scrunch that he's done on his face. And I'm going to deepen this as well with a 4B. That's a very, very sharp line up there, very, very dark in here, so we're going to deepen that as well. We're going to deepen the side here. Try and use the side of your pencil. It really does give a far more organic look to your drawing than going in with a point. It isn't, oh, I see, I just jerked my hand there, so it isn't always that easy, but it does give you a much nicer shade of graphite. I just want to emphasize this line that's coming down here, and then he's got these wrinkles come up across the top of his head here. And we have one that comes down into that shadow. This shadow goes into there, and it's okay if you're emphasizing certain areas that are not actually true. You just want to get that likeness, and you want to get that scrunched up look of his face. That's what the whole purpose of this drawing is all about. I love these wrinkles on the side here. These wisdom lines are just beautiful. Comes beautiful, beautiful shape. We get that, and then we have this dark area here. And now, of course, we're going to go into the eye, because the eyes are what this whole portrait is all about. So I just want to deepen this whole area. And get that shape in there. I'm not happy with the shadow across this eye, and I have a feeling it's because I haven't got the light right, the reflection right. So I think that is why that shape is looking out or odd. So if I do that and then take trusty old stump, get that a bit more round, perhaps it will look a little bit better. I can also see that this side needs to be darkened. And now that iris is looking a bit strange, so I'm just going to do that. That eye is looking better, I have to say. This eye on the left is looking better. Take that around. There's a shadow coming across here. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to lift out a little bit on this side, because that is lighter on that side. Okay, I think his eyes are looking pretty good. So we can just lift that up. He has got eyelashes coming down into this eye. And here we can see that there are eyelashes there as well. Okay, so looking pretty good, I think. Put this shadow in here on the nose, on the side of his nose, just to emphasize that. We've got this beautiful shadow that comes down and around, so I've just filled that in. And then we just want to emphasize this on the side here of his cheek. This comes up. So shadow all the way along here, and this wrinkle actually comes up ever so slightly there. Right, let's see what we have. Looks pretty good. I'm now going to blend it. You can take the beard, blend it out, because that soft line that you end up with there will actually look pretty good. That is definitely, this piece of eraser is too big for my liking. I'm trying it a bit bigger because somebody did say that it is nicer to use a bit bigger, but it appears for me I'm not, for me it doesn't really work. Right, so, but it's good to try. It's good to try out everything that is suggested or what you see other artists do, because it really, you then learn, you know, what you prefer and what is best for you. So I would say just give everything a bash. Okay, so I'm spreading this out because now we're going to start taking out that beard, and we need some graphite to be able to work with. And you can see that I'm using the blender to give an idea of that beard coming down here. Don't have enough graphite on it, but if you just pick up from where you have been working above, you will have enough to be able to start sorting out that area. I'm just going in here. You can see I'm using the black Mars Lumograph just to give it a bit more depth. And although the beard, I mean, hair is shiny, this Mars Lumograph doesn't really have much of a shine once you've laid it down. So it's actually quite nice to use in the eye area. Just to get rid of that reflection that you get. Let's use some of this down here. I like this pencil because it doesn't give me that silver sort of effect that the graphite pencil does, and it also gives me a really nice deep dark sort of shadow depth to it. And although we're going to be blending it out with the blending stump, it will give you that very, very nice deep dark shadow area that we are looking for. So I'm just taking it down the side of the face, and we can just take it into the bottom area here of this eyebrow. You can take it into this area here of the eyebrow, and of course where we've put it on the other side of the face, we want to do the same thing both sides. Okay, so we have now done that, and I just want to darken this here. This is very, very dark where his nose is. It's a very, very definite dark shadow. Right, I think we can start putting in some of these details. Just want an impression. We don't need too many up there. And we can start blending. Always looking at the reference photo just to make sure that we have a likeness. That is what we are going for. We're going for a likeness. We're not doing hyper-realism. That's a whole different story altogether. So we are just making sure that we get a likeness, and I would say that we have a pretty good likeness here. Right, let's go in with the Tombow now to start taking out some of these Very, very. I found that if you hold the Tombow on its side, you can see here that I've got very, very thick hairs that have come out, which is not really to my liking. But if you hold it on its side, you can see that I've turned it on its side, and you get a much, much, much finer line. And I do far prefer to work with that. So I just wanted to show you the difference between working with it on its side and working with it straight down. Obviously it gives you a much bigger hair. So we just want the impression here. I'm more interested in his facial features than I am on this part. We've already done one where we've done his beard very successfully, I might add. So I haven't really chosen this photograph for his beard. I have chosen it for his incredible expression. So that's what we're going to do on the beard. We can just do a couple of random hairs, just so that, well, I mean, everybody knows that this is a beard, so we don't really need to be doing this. But just to connect the top half with the bottom half. And I would say that this is finished. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with his nose. We've got the shading here, and we have the highlight on the top of it. We can just put in a few little paws over here, because I see that he does have paws showing, so we can put those in. That always adds to a drawing, adds realism to a drawing. It's actually very, very nice to add in, I have to say. I am all for that. He has a little spot on the top of his ear here that we can put in, and not really much else on his face. There's a little lump at the top here, but that's fine, we can leave that out. And I just want to make sure that we get these hairs here, this wild, and that everybody can see that these lines go into that part of his head. I can actually just lift those out ever so slightly, soften them. Okay, I'm very, very happy with this. I think that this has turned out extremely well. If there would be anything at all that I would do, it would be to put in a few more shadows in the beard, because he definitely does have a darker beard than what I have given him. But I don't think that's a train smash. I think we have a realistic look of him. Okay, now that looks like funny type of teeth, so I'm just going to go back in there again. So it's all about lifting and adding and lifting and adding. I think you've done enough of these with me to know that graphite drawing is all about that. There we go. Very, very happy with that. I think that he looks amazing. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and again, I apologize for not being around last week. As I say, I missed a week. Can't quite believe that I did, but it happens. And yeah, That is just life, I think. Clean that area up. So it does give a far more open, it does express his look a lot more, with his eyes being wide open like this. Softening out those shadows. Okay, everybody, have an awesome weekend. See you again next week. Bye.